I guess just looking ahead for the future, what are the key opportunities that you think that we've got now? Maybe it's in the new products that we're building around BREL and things like that. What opportunities do you see us taking on over the next year or so?
Yeah, obviously with PlotFire already launched, how we design the portal and the inspection regime is really clever. So it picks up the parts of the build for part P, the fire part of the building regulations. Yeah, so that's a good app, and I think that'll be used a lot more in the sector. I can see, like BREL, where it's a regulation that you have to take tagged photos of a certain build. I can see the fire element being regulation, as in you have to provide the evidence. It's not at the moment, but that's what I can see in the future. I think the government will look and see how BREL's being used, and if that's going well, they'll look at the other parts of the regulations in part B with the fire. I can see them saying, you know what, house builder, you've got to get photo geotag evidence that your building is complying to various parts of that, through the build, through fire compartmentation, through to certifications for final inspections. And then with plot, obviously we call it PlotBREL, the appendix to part L, the photographic evidence. We've done a lot of thinking and a lot of engagement with some of our clients, and also some engagement with SAP assessors. So we think that this app is ticking all the boxes. It is an app that will tell the site manager exactly where to take the photo, and have a screenshot of an illustration telling him where to angle the camera to take the photo of that part of that build. And then as soon as he takes the photo, a notification will go to the SAP assessor for them to open it into our portal to view that photo, to say yes or no, that photo is good enough. And then that photo then gets approved. And then site manager goes on to his next photo. And he goes through the build, taking these photos. And again, it communicates with the SAP assessor backwards and forwards. So at the very end, a BREL report is created. And then it's just simply tap the envelope and send it to an email address off the phone, which will be your SAP assessor email address. And the full report goes off. It couldn't be any simpler. Everyone's frightened of, oh, crikey, we got to take photos of every single bit of the part L of every single plot. Well, our PlotBREL makes it simple. It follows through. And with a color-coded traffic light, so it's all red. Every plot is shown red. Take one photo of one section, it'll go amber. Take all the photos of say, section 1, which deals with the ground floor, then it'll go green. And so the site manager or the assistant or a contracts manager can tell what stages the build's at, and everyone can pitch in to take the photos. It doesn't have to be the site manager, does it? An assistant can walk past, look at his phone, see that it isn't gone green. Oh, crikey, that's the photo I got to take. Zap, let me take it now. And so it continuously builds that evidence, as the site manager daily walks around. And that's the same with PlotFire. Fire is exactly the same. It picks up the part B regulations as the site manager walks around. He doesn't have to go out that day to think, I'm going to go out and take photos. He can just do it as he walks around, looks at his phone, sees the colors. If it's red, crikey, I can see what I've got to take a photo of, zap it. And with obviously BREL, it goes off to the SAP assessor, gets approved or not approved, comes back, then he can move on to the next stage. So yeah, I think fire will be one that will come up. And obviously there'll be amendments to BREL, Appendix Part L. I also think with passive house construction, it takes a lot of photograph evidence to get your passive certificate. So if that is where the industry is going, which I think it will go to that very tight, airtight house type, yeah, then the BREL's not good enough. It needs to be plot passive or something, So that's one for the future. Don't want to give the name away, but that could be one for the future, couldn't it? Because it's to do with it's a lot more photographic evidence to get a passive certificate to say that house is that, standard.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we're trying to do as well, in light of the regulations, we've recognized really when we moved away from PlotSnag, although that was our flagship product that got accredited by the NHQB first, as Lee mentioned. But one of the big things for us was seeing the increase in the regulations sort of downstream and expectations now that are on the house builders to meet and comply with these regulations. So really PlotTech is largely about trying to enable compliance as much as we possibly can. So with the products that we're building, we're trying to be as aligned as possible to these standards to help obviously the teams get as close as possible to those requirements and expectations. So, which is why you'll see the structures that we've got within the app. But it's really good to hear a lot about, the flexibility of the products and the collaborative nature, and everybody can see that update in real time. So we talked a lot about how we're continually keeping abreast of the changes that are going on from a regulatory perspective. And we want to align the best technology as well and the best products, but also at the forefront of that, keep everything as straightforward as possible. So when the critical moment happens on site, the app is there, it's functioning, and it's doing what you expect it to do. So those things will remain to be part of the ethos of what we're trying to do.